With the vaccine plateau, schools are beginning to reopen again. For almost one full year, the Medford School District has had to deal with some sort of comprehensive distance learning because of COVID-19. And as the Newswatch 12's Brett Taylor reports, even with children finally getting back into the classroom, the effects of CDL and the pandemic are still being felt.
It has been incredibly challenging for our students.
It's been exactly 364 days since the COVID-19 pandemic threw the Medford School District and other school districts across the United States into disarray. For hundreds of years, teaching has primarily been in person, especially for younger students. But in almost a full year later since the pandemic started, those same students have had to deal with the challenges and after effects of comprehensive distance learning.
Every single day, I hear from parents and sometimes students themselves about how their frustration levels and how they've become disengaged from everything, and those mental health, those social emotional health struggles are real.
But according to Medford School District Superintendent Dr. BRET Champion, students aren't the only ones who have had to deal with the challenges of the pandemic. Teachers have had their fair share of struggles as well. Champion says that his district's teachers had to quickly adapt to the challenges of teaching in a completely different method, and says that it was probably one of the hardest things that his educators have ever had to deal with.
Our teachers have worked harder and in more challenging circumstances in the past 12 months than they ever have before in their careers. I guarantee it.
And is incredibly proud of how his teachers rose to the occasion to educate the next generation during this past year of uncertainty.
I am incredibly proud of the work our educators did to rally together to mold and figure out what we can offer within some of the constraints that the state has put on us.
As students across the Medford area make their way back into the classroom, Champion wants to let everyone know that the school district will be there for their children, no matter what the next 364 days hold in store during this pandemic.
I just want our students to know that the Medford School District stands fully prepared to ensure that we're restoring that hope, that we are able to give you that pathway to work with your parent to find what's next for you by knowing you, by seeing you, by hearing you, because that's what we're ultimately all about as adults in this system, is really about our students.
Reporting in Medford, Brett Taylor, Newswatch 12.
In just 2 weeks, Grants Pass first grade students will return to full-time in-person learning. School officials say it's an effort to get more students back into classrooms. Officials say that they've mapped out the square footage in every classroom to determine how many students are allowed in each one. From custodians to teachers and principals, officials say the whole process was a team effort.
Our principals and teachers are rock stars, and they just got in there and physically did it. Okay, they're moving desks around, the custodians are helping, and so every room we know exactly how many bodies can fit in a really in a way that really supports the best instructional practices that we have.
Now, between now and the first day of classes, students and teachers will be reaching out to families and informing them on logistics of how this will all work. The district is also working on hiring another teacher so that they can have full-time classes. And Grants Pass schools will lobby Governor Brown for reduced social distancing requirements. The school board has passed a resolution to ask Governor Brown for reduced spacing requirements in classrooms. This is all in an effort to return to full-time in-person learning. The Klamath County School District Board passed a similar resolution last week. We brought that to you here on Newswatch 12. They lobbied the governor and the Oregon Department of Education to reduce the 35 square foot per student requirement to 9 square feet, and they want that to be effective April 5th. Now, the letter that will be sent to Governor Brown from Grants Pass School District is still in development. A district representative said it should be ready to send later this week. There is good news for Southern Oregon students looking to get back in the classroom. Southern Oregon University has announced it will have students attending in-person classes for the upcoming fall term. Now, with this move, SOU is following suit with other Oregon colleges like Oregon State and U of O. Yesterday, SOU President Linda Shaw announced that Ashland-based college will return to primarily in-person classes and student activities for the start of the fall term in September. The plan is reportedly flexible. allowing for hybrid alternatives as needed, and with restrictions on gathering sizes and public events expected to remain in place. SOU leadership still recommends students and employees get vaccinated as soon as they're eligible. On the coronavirus watch, Josephine County will move down to one level from high risk from extreme starting tomorrow, and that shift will allow restaurants to open indoor dining at 25% capacity or 50 people. Newswatch 12's Jada McClendon joins us live from downtown Grants Pass. Jada, you spoke with some of the restaurants. How are they preparing for tomorrow?
Alicia, the restaurant owners that I spoke to today say they're doing a lot of cleaning as well as getting more staff ready to work tomorrow.
For some downtown Grants Pass restaurants, business isn't going as usual.
It's been very difficult. We've worked hard on keeping the morale up of the employees as well as ourselves as owners, because 1 week you're told, okay, you can open, and then you order product and you staff everything and you get ready, and then 2 weeks later you're told you have to close now.
Jill Deemy, co-owner of the Bohemian, says it's been a roller coaster. Now that customers can dine inside her bar and bistro starting tomorrow, she's feeling hopeful again. However, it comes with some limitations. The 25% capacity rule means she can only have 12.25 people inside.
I don't know how I'm going to do the 2.25. We're excited. We know it's still going to be a bit of a roller coaster.
Over at the Horny Goat, co-owner Shelly Solomon is on the same ride.
We are over a 200-seat restaurant, so when we went down to only the 50 seats, it really was economically hurtful because it takes a lot of revenue to keep this big of a building and staff on board afloat.
Solomon came up with some creative ways to beat the business blues.
We've got these little greenhouse huts, and people seem to think it's kind of like a cool cabana, so very intimate, and we're just trying to make it work.
What's been lifesavers for both Solomon and Deemy are these parklets. The businesses petitioned for the city of Grants Pass to put them back sooner than later, and it worked out in their favor. Both owners say they wouldn't be able to survive without their customer support.
Excited to see our regular customers come back. You know, we're like family here. This is where the locals eat.
Under the high-risk category, outdoor dining also gets some relief too. Restaurants can increase to 75 people maximum, including individual dining pods. Reporting live in Grants Pass, Jada McClendon, Newswatch 12.